tweaked it. There was one setting actually that said medium on it, which I've changed to high. So we'll see if that does it. That was in Twitch directly, so we'll see if that fixes it. So Leonard, let me know if it's now back up to something relatively decent. Looks like the maximum that Twitch will do at the minute is 720p 60 for me. But there we go. Hit by ads, but 720p now. Yeah, so I put it up to. It was on medium, was one of the settings. I put it up to high, but it looks like for whatever reason my account is limited to 720p. I can't stream in 1080, but my input and output. Hold on. Let me share this so you guys can see. Let me share this if I can. Okay, it won't let me share it. Okay, so for some reason Streamlabs won't let you share Streamlabs screens. Go figure. Okay, but I promise you it is 720p, but it's the only option. I think it's just a Twitch thing. They don't want to put my videos in full resolution. I don't know why. Probably because I'm not partner. Maybe that's what it is. Archetype, thank you very much for being here, guys. Not sure which one of you guys it is, but I hope you're doing well. Derek says it's Twitch processing priority. Only partners are allowed to choose a rebroadcast bit rates. That makes sense. Lucas, thank you very much for the follow. VC Command, Archetype, thank you so much for the follows, guys. Thank you. Unusual as well. Evening, Jay. Thanks very much for being here, man. Cool Bus as well says sup. Is that like you guys telling me to hydrate? Sup, as in sup on something? Or is that only UK slang? Do you guys not use that wherever you are? I don't know. Yeah, 720p, but it's the only option. I think as Derek said, it's the only option because I'm not partnered. I suspect I'm a long way from partner. We'll see. Maybe one day. I use Streamlabs OBS. Yeah, says Derek. Yeah. Storsness says lurk. Never heard of sup. It's short for supper, like when you're gonna sup something. Like I'm from Yorkshire, so you can probably tell from my accent I'm very broad Yorkshire, so I don't have a London accent or anything like that. But sup is short for supper. To sup on something means to have a drink of it usually. Custom, thank you so much for the follow, man. I appreciate that. But yeah, Streamlabs OBS is what we're using today. I have no idea why it won't output at 1080p, but it won't for some reason. Yeah, looking through the settings in Twitch itself, there's nothing there. 720p 60 seems to be the only thing it does, whereas I'm outputting at 1080p 60. Celestial says hello. Hey, good to see you. Jordan saying, how was the vacation? Yeah, it was really good. We spent 3 nights at a hotel in the northeast of England, which is called Ramside Spa. You guys can look it up if you'd like. It's like a whole spa. It's got jacuzzis, hot tubs, massages. We did this thing where you get to put mud all over yourself, and then you sit in like a steam room for an hour, and then you have this shower that comes on. It was amazing. Felt really refreshed and relaxed after that. I had a couple of massages, a couple of different types of massage, which helped my back pain. I was really tempted to play a couple of rounds of golf because they do have some nice golf courses there, but I never had the time to do it, so I didn't get around to that. But yeah, it was just nice to relax and spend some time in the pool, swimming. Yeah, you put mud on me all over for free coming over. Yeah, it was good fun. Like there's these different types of mud, like you could put some on your hair and some on your face and different ones for your arms and legs. It was all different colors. It was actually really, really good fun. I thought I was not going to enjoy it because it was something the wife wanted to do, but it was actually really nice and my skin felt great afterwards. It was really good. Just catching up with Kuba says, my brother's actually in Bradford right now visiting family. That's where I am. I'm actually in Bradford right now. My workshop, which is where I stream from, is in Bradford in the UK. You can Google it if you want to see where it is. If you Google Prototypist Keyboards in Google Maps, it'll show you exactly where I am right now. I'm from North Yorkshire, but I haven't heard of that. You've never heard of to sup? To sup a pint? Like, maybe it's just old man speak. I'm sure it isn't because you're not partner. There are smaller streamers I know of that are able to have more options for resolutions. Don't know. I'm literally outputting at 1080p 60. I don't know what to tell you. I do not know what to tell you. There is nothing else I can tweak or change. SIP. Yeah, I've heard SIP as well. Yeah, I mean, that's used quite often. Oak Outland says, where's the desk mat? You love it. So this desk mat is actually from Alpha Keycaps. So this is based on the artisans that Alpha Keycaps make. Basically the owls, the Kipuras, and the dogs, the Salvadors, those artisans, they're all kind of in this kind of fantasy land here on this particular design, and it kind of rolls all together. It's a lovely mat though, lovely desk mat. Your cheeks are glowing. Mud did its job. Yeah, that and the fact it's really hot in here. It's like really hot. You look good and rested. I feel good and rested. Thank you. Thank you. I feel good and rested. Archetype says, Jay, I think we're vacay twins. I literally just did the same thing in Mexico last week. Nice. Congratulations, man. As I say, I was in the northeast of England, so it wasn't quite Mexico, but it was really nice. I did share some pictures on Insta. We had some really nice weather while we were there. We did like the whole infinity pool thing, which was private. Just me and my wife, we rented out this whole infinity pool just for the afternoon. It was pretty cool. And just basically got drunk in the pool on mojitos. So yeah, it was good. It was really good. Pokemon Kid's here. Pokemon Kid's actually going to come visit me tomorrow. He's got like a 4-hour drive to visit my workshop tomorrow, and we're going to have some fun. And then he's going to drive home, which is going to be interesting for him. It's encoding, how encoding from the wilderness from the UK works. Why do a lot of people in America think that the UK is really backwards when it comes to tech? Like, we're not. Like, I've got gigabit fiber here to my workshop, and like people were really surprised when I told them that I had Apple Pay here in the UK. Like, a lot of my US friends thought that the UK didn't have Apple Pay, and a lot of them thought that we didn't actually have banks where we could have cards on them. So when I went to Seattle in 2019, this is a funny story. Like, one of my friends over there was really surprised that I had a bank card, and I was trying to use we call it contactless here in the UK, but basically up to like 45 British pounds or like $60, you can just tap. You don't need to put a pin number, and you tap your card and off you go. And like, I couldn't do that anywhere in America when I was there in 2019, and Apple Pay was accepted hardly anywhere. Most places wanted cash, and I hadn't figured out that I was going to take cash because I use no cash here. But a lot of my American friends were really surprised that we had banks with bank cards. They were really surprised that we can stream from here because they thought we all had dial-up still. They were surprised that we had like satellite and cable TV. They didn't expect that to be a thing. One of my friends even didn't expect us to be able to have Netflix here in the UK because he thought that the broadband and the internet connectivity was not going to be high enough, and he thought that we still went and rented DVDs. And this is literally within the last 18 months. So weird. So weird. Yeah, I don't know. Just the way it is. One guy actually said to me when I put on Instagram a couple of weeks ago that I was buying a Tesla, he was like, how on earth are you going to charge that in the UK? You guys don't have power. I was like, wait, what? Like, he's like, you don't have power grids? I said, I could charge it at home. I could charge it at work. We have Tesla superchargers all around the country. I'm going to be good. I'm going to be fine. But yeah, it was a very weird conversation. The cocktails looked pretty good, says Unusual. Yeah, they were great. Mindstate says, hey Jay, new here. Well, welcome to the stream. Thank you very much for being here. I heard UK still have Flintstone cars. Yeah, right. Like, this is the thing. It was so weird that people thought that about the UK. I just didn't understand it. Trinson, if anything, I feel like our cards are more together than the Americans. Yeah, so my experience of America is that they like to use chip and sign a lot. Now, it might have changed since I was last there, but they like to use chip and sign, whereas we used chip and sign in the late 90s. When we moved to chip and pin in the mid-2000s, like 2004, 2005, we've now moved pretty much exclusively for small transactions to contactless or Apple Pay or Google Pay. My experience of the US was that they're still catching up. But you know, different strokes for different folks. Maybe it was just to do with where I was. Maybe just Seattle itself is a bit far behind. I don't know. What is your output video bitrate? 5,894.8 kilobits per second. So there you go, Major. That should tell you 5,894 kilobits per second, and it's pretty steady. Like, the line's just flat. How to blow an American's mind. Tell them that a 100-year-old house isn't even that old here. Yeah, like, yeah. Yeah. My house that I live in now, it was brand new when we bought it, but the previous house that I lived in was from the 1860s, so it was well over 150 years old. To be fair, we did vote for Brexit. Can't blame people thinking we're a backwards country. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, alright, okay, point taken. Bitterseeds says that where they are, they have Apple Pay, Google Pay, Tap and Pay with cards. Yeah, I mean, maybe it was just my experience of it, but like when I was in Seattle, nowhere accepted like that. Like we went out for a burger to this really nice burger place. It was like a standard thing in the middle of town. People going left, right, and center, cash only. I just don't understand that. Like I just don't get that. Here in the UK, it's very much card payments. Very much card payments. I was surprised to hear that Japan is still mostly a cash culture. I didn't know that. That's interesting. Just NFC on my phone. Yeah, I tend. It depends on what I'm doing. Like if I'm doing personal transactions and purchases, it does tend to be on my phone with Apple Pay. If I'm using business purchases for prototypists, it tends to be with the card because it's tap and go. Because you know, if I'm going to suppliers and things like that, it tends to be tap and go with the card. Or if it's an expensive one, it'll be chip and pin. My house is about 19 in the CA, so it's fairly old for the West Coast. Yeah, I can imagine it is, yeah. The cash-only places don't want to eat the fees for debit or credit card. See, that's interesting because the banks over here can't do that anymore. Like, the transaction fees are such a tiny fraction of a penny that all shops have to accept card here. Like, there's just no reason not to. Like 20 years ago, 25 years ago, the card fees might be like £1 per transaction, but now you could do like 100 transactions for less than $1 equivalent here in the UK. Like the transactions are so cheap that there's basically no income from it. It basically covers the cost of the electricity to run the machine, and that's it. So yeah, it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one. Doesn't Japan have a large amount of elderly? Could be something to do with that. That's true, they do. Yeah, they do have a very high elderly population. Japan's cash machines are really advanced, to be fair. Yeah, so before I retired in April, I used to work for a fintech here in the UK, or a bank here in the UK, but I worked in the fintech areas, and we actually were looking at, before I finished, one of the projects that was on my docket of things to look at for this year was upgrades to ATMs, cash machines, because we offered quite a lot of functionality, but they wanted to offer more and do more things through the cash machine that you would save you having to go into a branch, not just necessarily being able to withdraw cash, but what else could we do? What could we expand the repertoire to do? So it's kind of interesting. The US is semi-backwards as far as fees, paying for items and the rest. We had rules in place for such things until the late 90s. Then the stupid took over and changed the rules. Yeah, I think here in the UK and the EU, the rules and the laws are very heavily in favor of the consumer, not in favor of business, and that does help, I think, with things like that. Thank you to Bantergood, Mond Logic, and Wowro. Thank you so much for the follows, guys. Thank you. I appreciate that. The cash only in Japan is very shocking. When me and the lads went in 2018, a lot of the more touristy areas are fine with contactless, or they have their own prepaid top-up cards which you can use. The cash machines are nice though. They were all Halloween themed UI during October. That's cool. That's really cool. That's really cool. Nick, thank you so much for the subscription, man. Thank you so much, man. Tier 1 subscription. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Okay. We've talked a lot about cash machines and how backwards the UK is, or how backwards people assume the UK is, which is interesting. Goat Lord, thank you so much for the follow, man. I appreciate that. Oh, so I still carry a wallet, but it has some random things in. Do you want me to show you guys what I keep in my wallet? Would that interest you guys to see what's in my wallet? I didn't have a chance to listen to it yet. No, Jordan, I haven't. I will listen to it though, I promise. I only got back from vacation yesterday, been very busy since then, but I will have a listen to it. But yeah, don't dox yourself. Don't dox yourself. I don't even know what's in there. Should we take a look what's in my wallet? Like, I keep it in my back pocket. That's my wallet. It's not very thick. It's really old. It's made of grey leather. What's in here? So first of all, before I show you this, where's my phone? the only bits I ever need are in here, basically. So I don't actually need anything else than what's in here. I have the prototypist business card, I have my personal business card, I have a receipt, and I have my personal bank card, and I have a business card, and that's it. That's all I have in there. And that gets me through like 99.9% of things I need. Yeah, I'm being careful. You shouldn't be able to see anything. I won't show the backs of them, don't worry. Don't worry, no one will be able to see anything. As well as that, I have the company credit card. I have a Next voucher. So here we go. This is for a clothing store here in the UK. This has been in my wallet for about 4 years. It's been in my wallet for about 4 years. Thin ice, yeah. Don't worry, I'm not going to show anything that you guys can take away from. I haven't even scratched off the little thing here on this. This is like the little thing that you have to scratch off to get the code. I haven't even used it. I don't even know how much it's for. That's it. I also have my driver's license. I don't mind showing you guys the picture, but it's terrible. I look like I'm about to mug someone. It probably is expired, yeah. But that's my mugshot on my UK driver's license, along with a list on the back of everything I'm allowed to drive, which is pretty much everything here in the UK, up to 7.5 tons. Okay. Other than that, I have a couple more cards. Those are old actually and expired. They can go in the bin. I have one for my personal credit card and then one for Monzo, and that's it. And then other than that, I have money. I didn't realize I had this. Okay, so I don't usually carry cash, but there we go, guys. I have 10 British pounds. This is one of our new polymer notes. This is actually made of plastic, not paper anymore. You can actually see through it, like in the middle. There you go. But there you go, 10 British pounds. If anyone wants to copy and clone this, you can have the reference code on the back. There you go. And that's it. That's all I have. That's literally all I carry in my wallet. Mostly expired cards. In fact, actually, you know what? I'm going to put the expired cards in the trash. There we go. Sorting my wallet out. Nice mugshot. Yeah. I don't know if the voucher still works or not. I haven't seen. I have seen literally none of the newer £50 notes. I have a couple at home, but I don't. I have like a little amount of cash at home just in case you ever need it in an emergency. I think there's a couple of £50 notes in that. Yeah, I didn't even realize I had that 10 in the wallet. Like, I didn't even know that was there. I have no idea how long that's been there. Those new notes are really hard to rip or destroy. Quite cool. Do you know what the best thing about them is? You can actually put them in the washing machine, and they come out just like this. That's the best thing about them. You can put them in the washing machine and they come out and they're just the same. In case of the zombie apocalypse, I'll just trade keyboards if the zombie apocalypse comes. What coffee roast was put on tonight? Do you know what? I don't know, right? This is the bad thing. I've got like this much left in the hopper because I just tipped what was left of the bag in there before I went on vacation last week. So it's actually quite stale and it's actually not very nice, but yeah, fresh coffee tomorrow morning. Good thinking to use the keyboards as currency. Yeah. I'm not even sure where I would expect that except a £50 note without being suspicious of it. Really? I've used them a few times in the past. No one's ever been suspicious of them. Interesting. I've never had that issue. Never had that. Maybe it's just how you guys appear. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe like I just seem trustworthy and seem open, and they seem to think that a £50 note, yeah, that guy's going to be good for it. Whereas they see you guys. He sees you guys, and you guys just don't have that, you know, je ne sais quoi. And yeah, they challenge you on it. I genuinely, I've only used one like maybe a couple hundred times in my life, but I've never had anyone question it. Never. That's really interesting. That's really interesting. Anytime I've seen someone use one, they've checked it. Like, I've had notes checked in the past, but no one's ever given me dodgies or said, oh, we can't accept a £50 note. I'm thinking about investing in a bean to cup for the first time to celebrate my first salaried job. Any recommendations? Okay. So I use the Sage Barista Pro. That's what I use right now. That's what I've got in my workshop. It's literally just behind this wall, actually. Do I rate it? Yes. I think it's easy to use. It's easy to get good milk froth. It's easy to get a good espresso out of. You have to tune it differently depending on what coffee you're using, whether it's a finer grind or a slightly firmer press, or how much water you put through. But that's okay. You can do that within 2 cups usually. Like within 2 cups of coffee, you can net that in. Yeah, I think that's a good machine. Like if you're going to go bean to cup, I think the Sage Barista Pro, it's a solid machine. The only thing I would say is the steam one does take a little bit of time to get up to speed, and that's mainly because it's a single boiler machine. But if you want to spend like £500-600, that's where I would look. If you want to spend like £1,000, there are better options. But if you want to spend £500, that's where I would look. Yeah. Your face is too friendly to be sus. Maybe. You were refused a £50 note? Wait, what? They told you no, you can't spend this? I think that's illegal. I'm pretty sure that they can't tell you that you can't use legal currency to buy something in store. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I was only buying a penny chew. Okay, well maybe. Okay. Jay, question about the JO2 all black version. Yeah, the blackout version comes soon, guys. Are the pen rail and mid layers aluminium? Yes, they are. They are aluminium, but they're finished differently. So the pen rail and mid layer are high gloss aluminium, anodized black, so they're shiny black, and the outsides of the case are E-black. So the actual top and the bottom case are going to be E-black. So you're going to have the contrast between 2 different types of black. It's going to look very similar to how like a dark car tire looks against a black car, where you have shiny glossy back paintwork and then the more matte color of the tire. That's kind of the effect that we're going with. Takeo Keys, thank you very much for following, man. Hey, man, good to see you, dude. Yeah, but it's all aluminium. Yeah, but it is like hand polished. So to get the shine on it, it's hand polished rather than being sandblasted aluminium, and then it's anodized after it's been hand polished. So that's why we didn't go for like a darkened stainless steel or something, because the price would have just been astronomical. Yeah. Yeah. Regarding the £50 note, you can't refuse one for the fulfillment of a debt. For a sale, you are at a liberty to refuse them. Okay, interesting. So there is an interesting thing here where if you use the product before you've paid for it, you are technically in debt to the company for that product. So if you walk around the supermarket, you can quite happily like go pick up a bunch of grapes in the supermarket, walk around eating them, and then present the empty bag and pay for it at the end. Like that's it's not unacceptable to do that. I've known a lot of pregnant ladies do that. Like one of my friends, when she was pregnant, she couldn't help herself but do that. So she'd go around and she'd eat them as she was walking around, and she'd pay for the empty bag at the end. So if you're gonna do that, maybe if you just bought like £20 worth of stuff and you want to use a £50 note, maybe like you just open the toothpaste and lick it, because then you technically have used it and therefore you're in debt to the company. You haven't agreed a sale at the moment. That moment you're in debt to the company. That might be a little loophole to get around it. It's Derek says, I would request wing key option, please. So the blackout edition is only going to have one top. It's only going to be wing keyless as far as I'm concerned right now. I would have to see someone would have to really do some heavy convincing to get me to change it from the wing keyless top to the wing key top, or to even run 2 tops. Like you would have to do some serious convincing to get me to do that. Yeah, it is a build stream. We will be doing it in a second. I don't think it works like that, Susan. I don't know. Maybe. Like technically, if you go and put fuel in your car, you're not buying the fuel. You're in debt to the fuel. As soon as you take the hose out of your car, if you haven't paid that, you're technically in debt to the company for the amount of fuel that you've taken. You haven't agreed to buy, sell, exchange. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, should we do some building, guys? Golden Ratio, I did enjoy my break. Thank you very much for being here, man. Thank you. Okay, so ConOne, ConOne. Not sure how this is pronounced, but here is the board as it arrived. This is how I got it. I did label it, so I knew it was in here. But this is how it arrived. I haven't really looked at this. I just checked that everything was there when it came, and I haven't really looked at it. Little business card from Kind of Keyboards. Open your case with a fitting tool. Do not over tighten any screws. Certificate of authenticity. Okay, real talk here, real talk. Like, I get this one. I get this one. Like, I do something similar. I get that one. And I kind of get this one, like, warning signs. Really? Like an open group buy, an unlimited group buy? Really? Is that needed? I don't know. That feels weird to do. Like, if it's a limited group buy, I kind of get this. If it's unlimited, like, I don't know. Like, I could scan that and make that. How is that? How is that easy? How is this a certificate of authenticity? Like, I could scan that and print that in like 20 seconds. Right? It's just on thin card. I could easily make that. Like, I could copy that. Like, within a minute, I could have a working copy of this, right? There's no kind of like embossed logo or anything like else like that. I just feels a bit weird. Don't know. Like, just a hot take right here, right now. Just a bit weird. Just a bit weird. Yeah, I had a soft hidden limit. Yeah, like, I just find, like, if it was like a limited group buy to say like there's only 10 of this particular board in this colorway. Great, give me a certificate of authenticity that says number 1 of 10 or number 5 of 10 or whatever it is, right? Or maybe etch it inside the case. I don't know, that just feels a bit weird. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not complaining about it. I'm just saying it feels a bit weird. A small handwritten note. This is a nice touch. Dear Jay, enjoy your ConOne. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. ConOne, I think it is. 65. Kind regards, Milo. There we go. That's kind of nice. We have a sticker, which is the side profile of the board, if the camera decides to focus on it. There we go. That's kind of cool, I guess. I have some more stickers. I have a Salvin sticker. I have a ton of these now, but Salvin stickers are cool. And a kind of keyboards logo. Come on, camera, please focus. There we go. Jay, like, it's a nice authenticity certificate you got there. Be a shame if someone scanned it. Like, I think, my thoughts on this out, right, before we go any further, are if you're going to put an authenticity certificate in there, you need to make it very difficult to copy, or you need to make it have a purpose. It has to have a purpose. Like, if you've got an artisan and you get like something from the artisan, like here's an example from a Miroti Caps one. It tells me the name of it, it tells me the come on focus, come on camera. It tells me the name of it, it tells me the style of it, it tells me the serial number. It's pretty cool, right? That works well. Likewise, when ArtKey do the ones for the Sirius, it's like almost like a debit card. It's pretty cool. That works. But to do it for a keyboard that's unlimited, I don't know, like, there's just nothing to suggest that that's, I don't know, it just feels like it's something that's not quite there with it. Like, it feels like it's well intentioned, but not enough thought's gone into it, maybe. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Okay. We've then got a PCB. We've got some bump-ons and 4 screws. And we now have an empty box. Okay, now I've never looked at this board. I've never taken this open. Yeah, I thank you for your purchase with a message and signature would have worked better. Yeah, basically this, right? Like, he's included this, which is nice. But the authenticity card just felt... Come on, focus, please. There we go. But the authenticity card just felt a little bit weird. Like, that's nice. I like that. Like the little note. But that just feels a bit weird. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Anyway, this is the board. I've never opened this and never taken a look at it, so I'm seeing this for the first time with you guys. I've had it about 6-8 months now. Never had a chance to have a look at it. Okay, that's layer 1 done. If you hadn't guessed, I did get this in green. Okay, and there's the board. Plate's copper. Interestingly, it's shiny, but there is some scratches on it. Let's see if I can show you guys this. There is some kind of surface scratching on there. I don't know if you guys can see that. The green's nice. The anodization is on point. And I have to say the machining looks pretty good as well. The machining looks good. There is a slight gap on this side of the case, like between the two halves. There's a slight gap at this side that's not present at the other side. Base of the board's kind of plain, just the shape it is. It's nicely machined. Yeah. Don't have much to say about that. I thought the edges would be a little bit more rounded, so it's nice that they're a little bit sharper than I anticipated they'd be. These here are kind of sort of rounded. Go focus. I thought they'd be a little bit sharper. Is that just dust? Yeah, it's just dust. I thought they'd be a little bit sharper. You can see some of the mill lines through the anodization here. I'm going to try and show you guys this. But just on this face here. Go on camera, focus. There we go. Go on camera, please. Just on this face here, there is some lines in the anodization that look like mill marks. Well, you can see it is the mill lines, just showing through the anodization. I don't know if that's going to show on camera, but it is there. Could they double as a weapon? No, they're too rounded. Like the corner, maybe. The corner maybe could. Yeah, the logo is probably a little bit too deep for my liking, but it's nicely machined. It's nicely made. Let's see if we can take this apart. Now, I think this is held together by magnets, and as far as I'm aware, you're supposed to push up through this little hole here to separate the two halves. Let's see if it will do that. Okay, it's fairly firm. It's is it going to be small enough to push through? No. Don't really want to use a screwdriver. Let's try and use a blunt screwdriver. There we go. Okay, magnets installed in 5 areas. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are not screw holes as such. These are... Oh, they are tapped though. Interesting. Oh, interesting. So it looks like the plate can either be top or bottom mounted. So you can actually change this and make it top or bottom mounted. That's kind of cool. There's like a little bit of glue or adhesive just here. So these magnets must be glued in or epoxied in. There's a little bit of adhesive just there that's spilled out. That's fine. It's on the inside. So I wasn't expecting these holes here to be tapped, but they are. So I was expecting these holes here to just be for the heads of the screw to sit into, but they are tapped. So I wonder if you can screw the plate and PCB in to the top instead of having it at the bottom, because at the moment the plate's screwed into the bottom case, so this bottom mount like the canoe would be. Interesting. Okay, let's put the top case just there. Let's take off the plate. A couple of little things that bug me about the design, this isn't manufacturing, this is more design features, is the fact that the... Okay, so this is the first one that bugs me. So this green line here, this ledge, that sits inside the ledge and inside the lip on here. But the plate doesn't fill that. The plate is kind of like short, you see? So there's this lip here, there's this kind of raised bit here. But the plate has a radius that's short of that. But it fits it on the top and bottom, so it's... This rectangle, this backing rectangle, it's the plate's not to the sides of it, and it's the same on the other side as well. Look, like there's actually a gap here on this side where you can see right inside the case. Kind of feels a bit weird. Like, just make the plate the full width of this. Would have seemed a bit better. But okay, okay. It is a nice colour. I'll give it that. It's a very nice colour combo. I'll give it that. Those sharp edges can double the weapon. Yeah, oh yeah, we said that, yeah. That colour combo looks better than the white and copper I got, I think. I haven't seen any pictures of the white or copper ones, so I'm not sure. But the colours of this are really nice. The colours are really nice. Flexman, good evening, man. Good evening, Flex. Nice to see you here. Have I ever tried dyeing keycaps? Yes, I have. I've dyed PBT keycaps a couple of times. Okay, yeah. So I think if I was doing this myself, I think rather than have the plate sit on this lip just in a couple of places, like it sits on it here and then here and then here and here and then at the other side as well, but it doesn't on the sides. I think if it was going to do this, I don't know, I'd just change it a little bit, and it just doesn't feel like it's right. Either I would shrink these tabs and have them as just small little tabs, or I just make the plate fit to this entire edge here that goes all the way around. Some slight machine marks inside. There's a couple of anode hook marks, got to expect those. That's kind of par for the course, nothing wrong with those. You can actually see where the green's darker, where the anode hooks were, and I can tell that that's shown up on camera, these two lines here. That's where the anode hooks were. You might not be able to see that there. That's one of the dots there from the anode hook, and it's kind of dyed a bit darker here. So there we go. Custom daughter board. I believe this was designed by Evie. It doesn't use a standard size daughter board. This uses a completely custom daughter board. I kind of get reasons why for doing that. At the same time, it really frustrates me a little bit because this is just bigger footprint, so it's not quite as nice as the standard daughter board. Like if you were going to do something slight bit different, I could understand, but this achieves the same functionality in the same way, just a different size. I'd probably prefer to have one that's easy to pick up, like the standard AIO3 daughter board, but that's fine. That's neither here nor there. Typing experience is going to be a bit stiff. I mean, it's a copper plate, so it's going to be stiff anyway, right? Copper's not that flexible. I'm going to guess that these were made by Laser Boost. This just feels like a Laser Boost plate. Looking at the material, the way it's been polished, the way it's been cut, this feels like a Laser Boost product. Laser Boost have these little tiny little marks here, just on where the laser goes around. So the laser starts the square here, it goes up, across, down, round, back up, and just where it does, there's always like a tiny little tab, like a little bit of filament mark. So this looks like a Laser Boost plate. If I had to guess, I'd guess Laser Boost manufactured these. Plate is fixed ISO, which is nice. I like that. That's good. Option for split or full left shift and backspace. And I believe this is a 7U only bottom row. Let's check. This is a 7U wire. Yeah, 7U only bottom row. That's good. Okay, so layout looks good. I like the layout. Yeah, very simple design. Very simple design. Cool. Let's take a look at that PCB. Start getting the board ready to build. A few people have joined. Selq, hey man, good to see you. Neelinu, hi, hey, good to see you as well. Luke is here as well, hey man, good to see you. What says, how did your dyed keycaps turn out? I have a set of blank cat alpha set I was planning to dye graphite using RIT dye. I'm worried about it coming patchy dye. Okay, so what I did is I got a pan on the stove, I put some water in there, and I put the RIT dye in there. It was RIT, the brand that I used as well. It was the liquid one, not the powdered one. I poured that into it. And then what I did is I put a tiny bit of acetone in there as well, like literally just like a cap full, like 10-20 mil, something like that of acetone. Just poured that in as well. Put the keycaps in on the stove with it at a reasonable heat. I think I tried to keep the temperature around 60-65 just at the start, and then gradually ramped it up once the keycaps were in there, mixing them around until they'd taken on the colour I wanted. As soon as you see the colour that you want and it's even across all of the keycaps, take them out. And you have to do all of the keycaps in a single batch as well, because if you do it across multiple batches, if you do like half the keys in one batch and then another half the keys in another batch, you'll never get the colour exactly the same. So I would always recommend to do all of the keycaps at once. And the way I did it was I put them into the pan, but I actually had a strainer sat in the pan of the liquid, so I could lift the strainer out and it would let all of the water with the dye and run straight off them. So you lift the strainer out. The other thing as well is you want to make sure that that strainer doesn't touch the bottom of the pan. So I had just two little tiny blocks of metal that I put into the bottom of the pan, just to make sure that the strainer didn't touch the bottom, because otherwise it would transfer too much heat, and if the keycaps were touching the metal strainer and the metal of the pan, they would probably melt because the heat's going to be concentrated there. So just a couple of things to be wary of. Heat gently and then leave to cool and to room temperature once you've dyed them and taken them out. And then once you've done that, check that you haven't got any warping, because warping on space bars is real. When you dye keycaps, it happens. If that does happen, you just need to gently warm the keycap back up, clamp it flat, and then let it cool down naturally, and it should fix any of the warpage issues. It's doable, but just take time. Maybe use a keycap that you're not planning to use on the build, and test it on that keycap. So keycap that you don't plan on using, test the process on that one keycap, and then do all of the rest of them in a single batch. Luke, I'm doing well, thank you, man. I'm just back from holiday, came back from vacation just yesterday, so I'm doing good. Today is kind of my first day back working, which is why I'm here at my workshop, but I'll be actually properly working from tomorrow. Stab cutouts for the enter are noticeably smaller. Yeah, so the interesting thing here is that the stab cutouts here and here for the spacebar, they actually extend either for north-facing or south-facing stabilizers, whereas the enter cutouts here are only for an east-facing stabilizer. Wait, west-facing stabilizer. The wire has to come down here. If you use a PCB where the wire comes over this side, it's not going to work. Now, the interesting thing about that is they must have known when they created the plate for this side where that wire ran, which is why the enter stabilizers are in such a position. However, for here, it's kind of interesting that that's not the case. Now, I haven't looked at the PCB. I don't know if that wire runs north across here or south across here, but it's going to be interesting to see. And I'm not quite sure where they made that decision, unless the spacebar maybe can be in both ways, but I don't think that that's possible with the way that we use stabilizers today. So it could be interesting. We'll take a look. Well spotted, James. Well spotted. Other than that, the rest of the plate looks fairly standard. Okay. Thanks for the advice. Sounds good. I'll try it out on an old set first. Yeah, no worries, man. No worries. Just make sure when you do the final keycaps, you do them all at once. Otherwise, you're never going to match the color exactly. Yeah, just be careful with that. Okay, so here's a PCB. It does say designed by Martin Wood, but Martin is now Evie. So yeah, that's good. Looking at the stabilizers, as we suggested, the wire does in fact run on the west side of the enter, and it actually runs on the north side of the spacebar. So interestingly, those stabilizer cutouts could have been differently. They could have matched this and been shorter than the switch pin, but that's fine. PCB looks nice, just general matte black, solder mask, very little in the way of detail. Routing looks great, as you'd expect from an EV product. Very nice and neat and tidy on the routing. Kind of keys logo on the back. That's pretty much it. Reset button on the back as well. I do like it these days when reset buttons get put on the top of the PCB so you can reach them, but I tend to encode a reset button into QMK anyway, so that's fine. Yeah, it looks nice and neat and tidy. Okay, let's get our stabilizers ready and we can start to put the build together. Now I do have a 7U wire that I tried to use in that board the other week that didn't fit, so we're going to reuse that wire. We're going to go for full backspace. We need a stabilizer for full backspace. We're going to be using ISO enter, so we need a stabilizer for ISO enter. We're going to be using 7U space. We need a stabilizer for 7U space. And we're going to split left shift, so that's all of the stabilizers we need for this build. Right shift is automatically split because this is a 65%, so you have to use the shorter 1.755U space anyway, shift key anyway. Okay, so let's get this all put together. And if you guys have got any questions at any point, just let me know. I'll be more than happy to answer those. Now, I have used this stabilizer once before. This is a reused stabilizer, so I don't need to go too much with the lubing here. I'm just going to go quite gently. Remember, it's always easy to add more lube later on than it is to remove it, so just go fairly gently with lube on your stabilizers until you get used to the process. And these are Duroc V1 stabilizers. I do have some V2s, but I need to use the rest of these V1s up, so that's what we're using today. Again, just going gently with the lube. Don't want to put too much on here, just adding a nice amount. Much easier to tune stabilizers later on than it is by adding lube than it is to remove it. So always just go careful with the lube, guys. Okay, that's that done. Now with the lube that's left on the brush, I'm not going to add any more. We're just going to put a nice thin layer on the slider rails. We're going to do that on both sides. Do that on the other side of the stabilizer as well. And then the final thing we're going to do is just into the rear of the stabilizer where the wire can poke out. We're actually just going to put a blob of lube in there as well, which is just going to reduce any rattle on the upstroke. And there we go, that's our spacebar stabilizer done and in place. And we can put that into the PCB pretty much straight away. Okay, next stabilizer time. Okay. Has anyone in chat got one of these ConOne boards or ConOne boards? Be interested to know what switches and stuff you guys built with, because this is going to be a silent build, so it's going to be a little bit different from what I usually build. You've not built it yet? Okay, okay. Do you have a build planned for that? Do you know what you're going to build it with? So just putting the max base stabilizer in here. There we go. And we've just got the ISO enter one to do now, and that's it. We are stabilized up. In fact, I've just realized I didn't even finish that stabilizer off, so let's go back and fix that. You like to take your smaller boards into the office? Nice. Yeah, I don't have an office to go to anymore these days because I am legally officially retired. In practice, that just means that I spend all my life here up at Prototypist Keyboards, which is fine. I kind of love what I do. But yeah, I don't have an office to go into anymore. Which sometimes bums me out a little bit. Like, I do miss it. I do miss the interactions with people sometimes. I do miss a lot of the people I used to work with. But I don't think I would change and go back if I could. I'm pretty sure that I'm happier now that I'm not working than I was when I was working. Even if I have less free time than I thought I would. Onto the last stabilizer now, guys. Once we've done this one, we will finish the last one off. And then it's time for some switches. So I used to use Dielectric Grease pretty much exclusively, but the issue with Dielectric Grease is I find that it needs topping up over time a lot more often than 205 grade 2 does. Like, I just find that 205 grade 2 is pretty much the perfect lube for most things keyboard related for me. I like it in switches, I like it in stabilizers. I think it's the most versatile of the lubes that we have. It's easy to apply. It's yeah, it's just probably the best singular option. And given that my time is limited these days in terms of how I can put what I can put into the boards I build, I just tend to prefer that because it's a little bit easier. Like, it's a known quantity. I don't have to learn how to use a new lube or anything like that. I can just go with what I know, and I know how much lube each stabilizer is going to take, and I know how that's going to pan out. So yeah, I used to use Dielectric Grease a lot, but I haven't used it recently. Like, I probably haven't used it any time in the last 2 years. But my first 100 or so builds were using Dielectric Grease, I would have thought. Chris Bezic, thank you so much Subscribe for 3 months. Thank you very much, man. He says, please use this Twitch Prime money for the Ken Mary fund. One day, dude, I will own a Ken Mary. Like, one day I will own one. One day. And when I do, Chris, I will take you for a drive in it. I might not let you drive it, but I'll take you for a drive in it. Okay. Was the G2 stuff the stuff you bundled with your in-stock switches from time to time? Yeah, so I think we did something close to like nearly every switch we sold in the first 6 months of this year with free lube, but it was all 205 grade 2. That's all gone now. I haven't bought any more as yet, but I might do in the future, just to give away, because I like to give people lube. Like, I just like to give people lube. You don't trust me in it? Can't believe it. I've never seen you drive, really, so I don't know. I'd let you drive one of the little Datsun trucks that I have. I'd let you do that. Which I'm hoping the paperwork for the new green truck will arrive on Monday or Tuesday, and then I can get that on the road this week, which would be good. Although it's a busy week because I have builders in at home doing some renovations to the house, and then I have a company coming to fit a new garage door for me at home on Wednesday. That's going to be busy. I have someone coming to fit my Tesla charger on Thursday. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting week. All my 3D printing, only one of the 3D printers is working right now, not because the other one's broken, just because it's not running anything, but at the moment I'm printing some stem holders. So these are stem tweezers that hold onto the onto switches, so they hold onto the cruciform of the switch. So they hold onto this little cross bit that your keycap sits on, and allows you to lube them nicely. So yeah, that's what that's doing. It's printing off a bundle of those, and they go for free. And when people order switches from me, they get a free switch opener and free stem holder. So yeah, that's what I make. You got a Tesla recently? I haven't got the Tesla yet. It arrives on the 21st of this month. 21st of August is when it arrives. It's just a Tesla Model 3. It's the long range edition. Nothing special, just the standard one. Full self-driving capability, and that's about it. Okay, let's just check that the plate fits across these stabilizers. It does, but it's very tight. Okay, we've got it in place. And these are the silent Alpaca switches that we're going to use today. I actually prefer these housings over the standard Alpacas, and I think if I was going to make the ultimate Alpaca, I'd use these housings with the linear standard Alpaca stem. Hey Rage Stream, thank you very much for checking out the build. I thought about getting a Tesla X, but the shipping times were crazy. Yeah, I think I ordered the Model 3 in March, and it's coming now. I did actually already turn down one car because it didn't pass my level of what I expected from a Tesla, to be honest, when I got to the collection depot. So I have already turned one down. So this is the second one that they've procured for me. Hopefully this one will pass. But I didn't need a Model X. Like that's just overkill for what I need. We have like a family saloon car already. I have a couple of pickup trucks as well. So, and then of course I have the classic Datsun sports car, and I have another one coming from Thailand as well. So yeah, I didn't need anything else specifically. But that's why I went for the Model 3. Gonna go with step caps because step caps is best, and as far as I'm concerned, step caps is the only caps lock to use. Oh, interesting. The stepped caps lock cutout here is actually too wide. Like the step caps lock cutout is actually too wide. It comes nope, a quarter of a unit too far this direction. So they could make that cutout smaller. Interesting. Yeah, I have a Fair Lady Z. Yeah, says Rage Stream. Yeah. If you check out on Discord, you can see my profile picture. It's that car. If you go on my Instagram, there'll be pictures of it on the Instagram. You should be able to access the Instagram below. But if you go have a look on there and through my history post, you'll see it. It's bright orange. It's hard to miss. But she's a beast. Okay, now we've got most of the switches in. Oh, interesting. The ISO enter switch is turned so that the enter switch is actually facing westward. That's no, eastward. Sorry, eastward. That's interesting. Do you have an idea of cap selection for this board for listeners to choose from? Yes, I'll be sharing that with you later on. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cap sets I've got out that you can pick from. Because the set's green, I wasn't really sure what to put on it, so you guys have got 6 key sets to choose from. Just randomly selected from my collection. But you'll get to pick those in a vote later on. Yeah, it's metallic orange. Just Midnight Rainbow. Well, I'll actually show you guys Midnight Rainbow if you want to see it, but that's on my JO2. And well, I actually bought a set from each vendor that sold my key set as well, but they haven't turned up yet. I've only got my actual set that came with the sets that I bought from GMK. So I only have one set I can use personally, and that's my JO2. But I will show you guys that if you want to see it. But it's not one of the ones I'd selected for this board, actually. Interestingly enough, this PCB actually supports Alps as well, so you could in theory build this Alps, although you would need to get a plate made. I don't believe the plate files were open, so I'm not quite sure how that would work, but you could theoretically make an Alps version of this board. I found the ISO enter switch can be royal pain to get out as it's north-south facing due to how close it is to the stabs. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Usually, though, it would be a west-facing switch, not an east-facing switch. The actual Cherry specification calls for it to be rotated because the cruciform on the official Cherry switch is slightly different on north to south as it is east to west. So, yeah. And that comes from big-ass enter days as well, when they used to have a second stabilizer switch to hold the keycaps in place. Waves or botanical might fit. Hard to guess the exact shade of green in the board. Yeah, it's kind of a weird green as well. Like, it changes in the light a little bit. So yeah, I'm not sure either. I did pick some green sets. I do have botanical, but it's not here in this pile. But I'll show you guys those in a few minutes. I do think the plate's got a slight bow to it as well, because this is rocking on my desk. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's actually rocking. It has got a slight bow to it. It has both the PCB and the plate assembly. Slightly concerning, but we'll see how it goes when we build it up. It might just flatten off in the case when we screw the case together. Like, can you guys see that that's rocking? Can you see that that's rocking? Because it's like barrel shaped. If I zoom in, can you guys see that? You guys see how that rocks? Like if I push this side down just gently, not anything heavy. But it's about as thick as that. It's about that much. It's like the thickness of this off the desk. Interesting. Like, look, can you see that here? If I put that up against like a straight edge, you guys see how much that's out? Look how much that's out. Can you guys see that? Not sure how I feel about that. Okay, let's just hope that the pressure of screwing it into the case will hold it. Yeah, that may. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not going to pass judgment. Not passing judgment. This is me not passing judgment until I built the board. Oh, the other thing I forgot as well, it's not got a blocker, has it? I prefer 65% with a blocker in it, but there's no blocker in the top case. Interesting. So this is a full open 65%. Okay, so we want 1.5U key there, and 1.5U key there, and spacebar key there, and then 1.5U there, and then the final switch 1.5U there as well. Okay, let's check for any bent pins. Just go through the board and check we've got no bent pins. Just check this PCB is all held in place. It is. So I'm just going to check each pin now, just visually, just inspecting to see if I've got any bent pins anywhere before we solder. And just a reminder, guys, as well, that whilst I'm soldering, you can ask me any question you would like about any topic you would like as well. So all you guys have to do is just tag me with @jprototypist in chat, and I will read out your question. I will answer it. Now, you can ask me anything you like, as long as it's Twitch safe for me to answer. As long as I can answer it in a Twitch safe way, I will answer it. You can ask me about anything at all, whether that be space, architecture, time, keyboards, my old job history, what my plans for the future are. Anything at all you guys can ask me. All you need to do is just tag me and ask the question, and I will answer it 100% honestly, being Twitch safe. It doesn't matter what the topic is, as long as it's Twitch safe, I will answer it. And you can do that at any point whilst I'm soldering. So feel free, guys, to get your questions in, ask away, and I'll answer any questions I can. Don't be shy. You can ask anything at all. If there's anything you've ever wanted to ask me, or anything you've ever wanted to ask anyone that you've been too scared to ask, feel free to ask me, and I will try and answer to the best of my ability. You can put it in a cloth and park a car in it. I could, yeah, I could. Okay, I'm just going to solder a couple of pins in place first, one in each corner and one in the center, and then I'll start looking at your questions, guys. But feel free to ask anything at all that you would like. No subject is too off topic for me. It doesn't have to be about keyboards, it can be about anything at all, and I'll answer as best I can. Okay, let's see if anyone puts any questions in. Do you have any opinions on the Brutal 60? I actually own one of the original prototype Brutal 60s that Upas was kind enough to invite me to purchase back in the day. It's the first one that has the logo on the inside, not on the outside, if I remember correctly. Or is it the other way around? I can't remember. I think that the board's really nice. I know that it was related back to a building. I don't think it particularly resembled the building that Upas designed it around, but that's just down to, you know, subjective interpretation. For the board itself, I thought it was really well priced at the time. I thought it was pretty easy to put together. I thought it was pretty solid. It's just a really good, you know, two-part case 60%. I thought it was really nice. It was well priced. It was solid for the price. I think the looks can be very much subjective, you know, whether people like it or not, and quite divisive. I did like it, but I know it's not for everyone. So that would be my thoughts on the Brutal 60. Don't forget to tag me, guys, if you've got any questions. Did it come with polyfill? It did come with polyfill, yeah. So I got some polyfill with it. I found the polyfill quite awkward to use because it's just basically stuff that you have to bundle and push into the case. I think I took it out in the end. I don't think it added anything to the actual sound for me for the case. I think it was better without it. But I did build it in a very different way. So I built it with what I call brutal switches, which were 180 gram spring switches. I think they were Gatoron Fey switches or matcha switches. And yeah, I put 180 gram springs in there. So The polyfill probably was wasted on my particular build compared to other people's. Favorite keycap set. So this is going to change every week. You can ask me every week and I'm probably going to give you a different answer. Right now my answer is going to be GMK Midnight Rainbow because it's the key set that I designed, and I use designed loosely because I don't really know if just picking some colors and putting them on keycaps is classed as design. I don't know if that makes me a designer or not. I feel like it doesn't, but like, it was a set that I created. It's now in hand, it's now shipped out to group buy purchasers, and it's a real thing. So that's probably my favorite keycap right now, keycap set right now, and I'll share that with you guys if you want to see. If you guys ask to see it, I'll show you guys it, because it's on my personal JO2, just on the other side of the cameras. Normally when you ask me, it's going to be a range of answers. I've got big feelings for GMK Royal Alpha. I also love Honeywell. I think Honeywell's a timeless classic colorway and can't ever do anything wrong. Yeah, so like, I'm going to give you a different answer every week on key set. Same with like favorite switches or favorite keyboard. It's always going to change. Like, I'm never going to be able to settle for just one, but I think there's a few that is going to always be in that top kind of pile. So Honeywell, Triumph Adler, 9009, Minimal, Black on White, Dolce, Solarized Dark. Those are always going to be kind of my go-tos, and now Midnight Rainbow is going to go in that pile as well. And sneak hint, guys, as well, GMK Daylight Rainbow is going to come to an interest check pretty soon. So if you missed Midnight Rainbow, or you want to collect the whole set, the whole trilogy, Midnight Rainbow is out now. Daylight Rainbow is going to come out very, very soon. Watch out for the interest check soon.com. And then the final in the trilogy will be after Daylight Rainbow ships. What got you into cars? I don't know. I've always kind of been into cars. I've always kind of had like a thing for cars. I actually got into cars quite late because I've only been able to drive for about 10 years and I'm in my 30s now. So, no, 12 years I've been driving. So the fact that I got into cars quite late made it a little bit weird, I think. But I've owned over 50 cars, and right now I think I've got 10 cars. So, yeah. I think at the most I ever had at one time was 11, and my wife was not happy. So, but I can't tell you what it is. I don't really like modern cars though. Most of my cars that I love are classic cars, vintage cars, anything that is probably pre-1980 is kind of where my stylistic choices lay. But I do really enjoy working on cars, spending time with them, driving them, yeah. MacGyver Mate says, do you have any advice for an aspiring entrepreneur? What was it like when you transitioned from corporate to independent? So I think that's a difficult question for me to answer because personally, I don't have an income right now. I have no income. I don't take any money out of Prototypist. I don't get paid a salary. I literally live off my personal investments and money that I've accrued over my lifetime. So it's a really difficult question for me to answer. Like, I have no income. I have no financial attributions from Prototypist personally. I've invested a lot of money in Prototypist myself, but I don't actually have any income or any payments of any type, whether that be dividends, royalties, salary, or any other type of money. I don't take anything out, so it's a difficult question for me to answer. In terms of advice for anyone who's just aspiring to do something with their life and create something, don't be afraid to take risks. Always understand what your risks are and do some risk analysis before you take any steps. Make sure you can understand what the key risks are, what the impact of those risks will be, when those risks will impact you if they do become real issues, and what mitigations you can put in place for them. And then you just take a long, hard look at them and you take a realistic approach to those risks. Like, you know, you might look at a risk and say, if I take this financial decision, it might mean that in 6 months I don't have enough funding or capital for the business, but in the meantime my plan is to sell this amount of products, therefore that should offset the amount of funds I need. then you need to offset that risk and be able to understand it and understand what your mitigants are. Or you might be able to take out a loan. That might be a mitigant. But you need to know that you can do that first. So true risk management is what I would say is the sign of a good entrepreneur versus a bad one, especially from an investment and a startup perspective. But I think people use the word entrepreneur too bluntly these days, and it tends to mean like just owning your own business. I don't see that as being an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is someone who's bringing something special to the world, that's delivering something that no one else could. So it really depends on what you want to do. You just have to be careful with that kind of stuff. But true risk management, that's where I think you need to lay your feet at the door and make sure that you've got that nailed on. If you've got risk management nailed on, you should be good to go. Do you plan to eventually take away from prototypist? If not, how long could you go on before having to drastically change your lifestyle? Not at present. I don't plan to do that. How long could I go on? Living the way I do now? Probably till the end of my life, I guess. TA90 is the best version of Triumph Adler. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. What's my favorite switch? It's going to change on a weekly basis. It's really difficult to give you an answer to that. I've really actually been enjoying the KTT grapefruits actually that I have for sale at the moment. I've been hugely enjoying those recently. But again, favorite switch is going to change all the time. If I had to only pick one, it's going to be SKCM Brown Alps. That's going to be the answer, I think. Okay, almost done with the soldering now. Let's see if there's any more questions. I don't like modern cars. Buys a Tesla. Well, I need some modern cars. Mercedes Gullwing went, no, I'm not a Mercedes fan, really. Coventry has the motor show on this weekend. Loads of classic cars there. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't go. Favorite car is the R32 GTR, and bike is yes 1000 RR. Yeah, R32 GTR is nice. Yeah, that's not bad. Just expect to spend a lot of money if you want one. 2 years ago, I begged my granddad for $10,000 to invest in Tesla. I remember it was August 2019. I always remember that it was my fault for not saving and blowing my money. Yeah, I mean, I don't think people who invest are necessarily entrepreneurs. I think that's a very, very stretched definition of entrepreneur. But yeah, like, don't ever regret not making an investment. Like, you can't live through life wishing you'd done things differently. Like, you make the best decisions you can at the time you're making the decision, and that's why you need to be clear on the risks and stuff, as I talked about before. Because if you're making decisions based on ifs and buts and maybes, then you don't really know what you're doing. But if you're making decisions based on true raw facts, then you've got kind of a good handle on what could happen, and you know what the worst possible outcome is, and you know what the best possible outcome is, and 90% of the time it's going to be somewhere between the two. So I think that's the trick for me. Understand what your risks are. And that goes for anything in life. Jamon Serrano or prosciutto crudo? Prosciutto is always going to take my swing, I think. What did you do to retire? I retired. Like, I have no day job anymore. I have no income. I'm retired. Officially, legally documented as retired. Okay. I'm building my own funds. I want to use apartment complexes and start doing arbitrage. Yeah, I mean, it's going to take time for you to get there, dude. Like, don't try and rush those things. property is always a safe bet, but you need money to make money. You have to speculate to accumulate. So it's about spending the right money at the right time on the right thing, and that's again where you need to understand your markets and what you're doing. Like, I don't think you can blindly go into it and hope to make money. You have to really study what you're doing and what the market is in your area, and it's going to be different everywhere around the world. There's no get rich quick schemes that work in this world. You have to really know what you're doing in any given area to make good money. Okay, almost there now with the soldering, guys. And there's more to life than money as well. Like, bear in mind, guys, that money doesn't do everything you want it to do. It isn't going to make you happy. It's just going to make some things easier in life. That's all it does. What's the coolest feature you've seen on a keyboard? Oh man, that's a good question. The coolest feature I've seen on a keyboard? Oh man. The coolest feature. I think the coolest feature I've ever seen was this Japanese board, and it was like a custom board that you could buy from, I think it was Yoshikobo in Japan that was doing it. I think it was those guys, and it had like, I think it had like 48 switches on it, but depending on how you push the switch, whether you pushed it to the left, it's more like an analog controller, 48 analog controllers like you'd get on a Dreamcast or a PlayStation or an Xbox or whatever. And if you pushed it to the right, you got one character. If you pushed it to the left, you got another character. If you pushed it north, you got another character. And if you pushed it south, you got another character. So depending on the orientation of how you pushed all these buttons, gave you different characters on screen. And I thought that was really cool. I thought that was really cool. It was impossibly difficult to use, but it was really cool. I think that was kind of a cool innovation I've seen. Okay, last couple of switches now, and then we'll quickly fly through the last questions, and then we'll test this PCB and make sure it works. Okay. Have you heard of the company Aviva? Any thoughts of them? If you do, based in Cambridge, I'm just curious. It's a commonly heard name in England. No idea. I haven't heard of them. Sorry. Is it rude to ask you what allowed you to accrue the money you used to retire? Like less than 1% of it was inheritance, and the rest of it is just what I've earned through my day job over life, and what I've accrued as savings. Simple as that. And personal investments. Coolest feature, Jay. Technically, Matt, I haven't tried anything that you've got implemented yet. Technically, I haven't tried it yet. Maybe we could change that question after tomorrow. We'll see. Import and export businesses. Yeah, import and export is fine. Depends on where you do it. Like, you seem to be aware, again, of the risks. Things get lost at sea. As long as you're adequately insured, you'll be okay. Press one option, then up, down, left, right for the other keys. Yeah, it was such a cool little thing. I couldn't use it to save my life, but I enjoyed using it. It was good fun. Okay, let's test this keyboard out then. So we're going to put the daughterboard cable in here, and then we're going to put it into the daughterboard as well. Or we are, if we can hold it in the correct orientation it needs to be. Okay, that should be in place. Let's, before we screw all this together, let's give that a try. Let's load up a Via or something similar. Let's get switch header up. Okay, you guys should be able to see switch hitter in the bottom corner of the screen. Let's steal the USB-C cable from my Matrix Vita, plug it in here. Okay, setting up device. Nice, here we go. Okay, should we see if it works? Escape. Okay, everything's working on the top row. Oh, I forgot that this should be set up as ISO. Let's just change that layout. Change that layout to ISO. Right, okay. let's let's try that again. Okay, so the fact that the plate's bowed is making this really difficult because the plate's moving under where I type. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's rocking under where I type. Okay, so enter isn't working. We may have mis-soldered that, so I'll have a check in a second. Everything else looks to be working just fine. Okay, so that's keys working, that key's working. Okay, all working there. Control Win, space, Alt, and Control. It looks like there's no FN key set on the keyboard by default, which is fine. We can fix that later on in QMK. The enter key's not working, so I'm wondering if I missed that and didn't solder it. Why stand alpacas? Purely because that's all I had to hand before I started the stream. Okay, we did not solder the switch, so let's go back and rectify that. I have like a load of switches. I just don't have time to solder and to lube switches like I used to. So this was just a case of it's what I had on hand at the time. So I used them, and that's it. Silent switches I tend to find don't need much modification anyway, because usually I'm lubing for sound, and silent switches don't have any particularly audible typing sound, so the only thing you're going to fix really is any scratch. Alpacas are pretty smooth anyway, so I feel like lubing them is probably not needed. Quadrum's here. Hello, man. Hey, good to see you. Yeah, and don't be afraid to frail, Rachel. I see what you say. Yeah, I get what you mean. You mean my circle of competence. I can't just jump into something random. I usually try to go into something I'm naturally interested in. Yeah, that's fine. Don't be afraid to try new things, but at the same time, don't expect to be successful at everything. If you don't make something successful that you thought was going to be successful, that's not necessarily something that needs to be thought of as a failure. You need to learn from mistakes and build on them. And if you're going to fail, which you are going to do, and everyone fails a lot, you need to fail fast. Fail fast and try again. Okay, let's see if that enter key now works in switch header. And it does. There we go. The whole keyboard's working, so it's now time to put the rest of the case together. And then once we've done that, you guys can pick what switches what keycaps we use on the board, and then we'll see how it sounds at the end. Yeah, fail fast. If you're gonna fail, fail fast. So we're gonna screw this in as the board was intended into the bottom case first. Oh man, the bow in this is making this really hard. Okay, look how bowed this is. So if hold on, let me do 2 screws on left. Normally I wouldn't do this. I'd normally go diametrically opposed, but let me just screw 2 keys on the right down. Actually, the 2 pads on the right down, so it's just going to hold it in place nicely. Okay, look how bowed this is. Like that's how it sits naturally. Straight edge. Bowed plate. Like I can get it to sit flat, but that's where it goes naturally. Boing, boing. Like I just feel like that's a big. How did that pass QC? Okay. I'm going to have to go gently across here now. I've done 2 corners, I think. And just take it steady. May as well start archery. Real leaf spring plate. Oof. Yeah. That's a weird looking ergo. You guys. Because of the bow, the switches don't want to line up to their. Sorry, the screws don't want to line up to the case. Like this is just awkward. Oh man, like that screw just does not want to go in. And do you know what? I'm going to have to loosen these screws just to get the movement in here. Look, I'm gonna have to. This is so weird. How often do I stream? Vibes are great. I stream every Sunday, and then I usually try and stream every Tuesday and every Thursday as well. But every Sunday without fail, we do a build stream. And then during the week, I try and do at least 2 workshop streams. So on Tuesday night this week, I'm actually going to be doing a stream out in the workshop where we're going to start building a Lego Millennium Falcon. It's the full-on UCS Collector's Edition, and I'm really psyched to start doing that actually. So we're going to do that out inside the workshop. And then on Thursday, we're actually going to be doing a stream where I'm going to be prepping some files for laser cutting and doing some laser cutting, which is going to be good fun. Okay, so I'm having to go round and I'm having to slowly screw each screw until I start to feel the plate give a little bit into position, just to make sure that I'm not bending and breaking anything. Like, I'm not screwing all of these screws down in tight at the minute. Those 2 are in tight, nothing else is yet. Okay. This is so weird. Like, I feel like I'm just going to stress the board and rip these out. Okay. Okay, it's in and it's done. It's now flush. Just. That took some doing, guys. Like, I felt like I had to force that. Not a fan. Guitar lessons, right? And where the spacebar won't sit right with that. Yeah, I think it looks okay. I think it's flattened everything out nicely now, but there is still a gap. Like, it's still lifting just here on the plate. Like, the plate needs nipping down just there as well. Stands up. I'll try to be here. Yeah, like, I try and stream it as much as I can. Like, if I could stream every day, I would, guys. I would. I just can't always stream every day. And I try and stream as much as I can during the week as well. Should be a really springy typing experience. Well, it's actually all screwed down. So it's actually going to be really firm. Like, there's no giving that at all. Distance between each key in the ConOne plate file is 19.05 millimeters. Yeah, which is correct. That's right. That's correct. That's what it should be, Derek. Yeah. How can you own the Lego Falcon and not build it? I've had it a couple of months, but I haven't had a chance to build it yet. But I'm going to be building it on stream. Might take us a few weeks, but we'll do it. Okay, now we're going to test out this magnetic case. Okay, that worked quite well. The magnetic case worked quite well. It holds it on nice and tight. Yeah, okay, I think the magnetic case works quite well. I really need to set up a macro that types 19.05. Yeah, or 2 times 19.05 or whatever. Yeah. The worst thing is when I've got to cut a plate file in POM and someone sends it to me and it's in inches and it's like, ugh. That makes me cringe. Okay, time to put the bump-ons on. I probably have done these bump-on cutouts a little bit deeper than this. Oh, okay. And you guys are going to get to pick keycaps in a minute. I've kind of gone off original style bump-ons as well these days. I'd like to use something a bit more bespoke. I know James and I have worked together on bringing to life a new product for our boards. I'd like to see more designers do that as well. Okay, so there's the board. Right, that's the board, guys. It's now time for you guys to help me pick which keycaps we're going to use. So let me set up a poll. And I'll show you guys what we've got as I talk you through them as well. So I'm going to type into the poll the keycaps we've got choices for, and then I'll read them out at the same time, and then I'll show you them afterwards. We have GMK 9s. I have GMK Waves. I have GMK Royal Alpha. I have GMK Copper. So I can only put 5 in here, so we're going to have to skip one. Okay, I've used Modern Dolch before, so we'll skip that. And we have DCS Nightfall. Okay, the poll is running, guys, and whilst that poll's running, I'm going to show you the Keycap sets. So we have GMK Waves. Actually, oh yeah, that does have the whole base kit in. It looked like there was very few keycaps in there, but we have GMK Waves. You can check out the poll now, guys, and vote if you want to. We have GMK 9s, just nice and simple, should go with pretty much anything. We have GMK Royal Alpha. I have DCS Nightfall. Teal might clash a little bit. I did have Modern Dolch as well, but I've used that before in another build, so just to show you guys, I did have like a full sealed set of Modern Dolch, but we're not going to use that because I've used it before in something else. And I also have a full sealed set of GMK Copper. So there we go. Those are the choices. You guys can vote away for the next few minutes, and we'll see what wins. I'm just going to zoom the camera back out a little bit so you guys can see. There we go. Terra Below would be nice in this set. Yeah, I think it would. Copper would be fire. Yeah, I think Copper worked quite well. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see if it wins. It has to win the poll, though, guys. It has to win the poll. I'm planning Copper on my E White ConOne. What lens do I have on the streaming setup? So I've got two A6400s. The Sony Alpha A6400 is the camera just up here, and also the camera there as well. And they're both 1650 OSS lenses. They're basically the stock lens that comes with the 6400s. And I use 2 of them. DCS is underrated, yes. On Towers, thank you so much for the follow. Thank you very much. I think I've missed a few as well. So Fox4N, Project PTTV, Thorium, Darren. Thank you so much for the follows, guys. Jackapon, Conadex, Raidstream, Inner2 Crazy. Thank you so much for the follows, guys. I missed those while I was during the stream. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. DCS is underrated though, JQ. I agree. I agree. It looks like GMK Copper is going to win, but there's still some time for this to go by. Don't forget you can use bits and channel points to be able to influence the vote if you would like to. And also don't forget as well, guys, that Twitch Prime subs are now cheaper than ever before. You can now sub for cheaper than you were able to sub before. So consider sending a sub my way if you're interested, if you enjoy the content. And if you can't sub, well, just share the word. Get people to come and watch. Help support the stream. The stream is capped at 720p, but I'm not sure why. I'm actually streaming in 1080p 60. Both of the cameras are recording in 1080p 60. I don't know why Twitch is making me do 720p. Don't know why. Don't know why. My bitrate is close to 6,000. I'm on a gigabit line, both up and down. There should be no issues with it. I think it's just a Twitch thing. Where's the poll? You should be able to see it at the top of stream chat, Wayward Fox. The keyboard I'm using, Raidstream, this one here, this is a Matrix Vita. It has the little Prototypist logo on the screen here. This is an LCD screen that we can change with GMK Bingsu. And I actually built this on stream last week. The VOD is on YouTube. So yeah, this is the Matrix Vita. It's actually sparkly as well. You can check the VOD out on YouTube if you would like to. Good thing I can only stream in 720p. This is why I kept having sheep for neighbors. Like, I'm literally on a gigabit line. Like, I have no idea why Twitch keeps doing this to me. Interestingly enough, when I stream on the other PC, it doesn't do it. And it's the same settings across both PCs, so I have no idea what the issue is. It's like 25 parts or something. The Vita, yeah, the Vita's got a lot of parts to it. It's a cool board though. It's a super cool board. You can change the little display here to have different things. At the moment, it's got my logo and Prototypist written underneath it. Let me zoom in and show you guys. Zoom all the way in. So there you go. It's got the PT logo, and it does say Prototypist under there. I guarantee you, it's just very difficult to pick it up on the camera. But yeah, pretty cool little screen. Twitch is registering British gigabit as dial-up, 100%. That's exactly what's happening. I think there's a post of RMK of a dancing doggy. Yeah, you can put GIFs on there as well. I actually had it cycling through 3 different colours of my logo, but it looks a bit weird, so I stopped doing that. Okay, so Static Age contributed 500 channel points to get GMK Copper to win. So thanks very much, guys, for that. GMK Copper is our winner, which means we can start putting keycaps on the board. I wish the Vita supported more layouts. I do wish that I could use ISO enter with the stock plate. I can't, and a 7U bottom row as well. My Falcon has actually just shipped as well, my Matrix Falcon. That's on the way at the minute. That should be here next week. Sorry guys, I'm just unpacking this because I've not actually used GMK Copy yet. This is the first time I've seen it in the flesh actually. But yeah, you can put different things on those screens. They're pretty cool. Pretty cool. Okay. Now the real question here, guys, is do we go accents or not? Because I think that's going to clash. So, in chat, yes or no, Y or N, right now, do we use accents or not? Go. While you guys are deciding that, I'm going to put the standard keys on here. Okay, most people are saying no to accents. I think that's probably the right idea for this board. I can't remember if this has got UK ISO or not, so I've put the non-UK ISO keys on just in case. I don't think it does support UK ISO, but we'll see as we get through the board. No, 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 no. No accents. Who wanted accents? Did anyone want accents? Oh man, it's so weird. I don't use silent switches very often. Oh, Quadrum wanted to see accents. I just think the teal green will clash with the green of the case. Literally just you. Yeah, I think they're just too close to the colour to work. Okay. We're also using stepped caps lock here, so the caps lock key here won't work. Thank you very much, Jeanette, for being here. I'll see you again soon. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. What do you think so far, guys? These caps look okay. Let's zoom in a little bit so you can see the board a bit better. What do you think so far? That work? The keycap set is GMK Copper and it's just been picked by chat. They had a choice of 6 keycap sets to pick from and they picked GMK Copper for this particular build. I love the colour contrast of the green. Yeah, I think it works quite well. I think that's all we can use from this layer. Actually, we need to put the arrows on. That's the arrows in place. We'll come back to the right hand column in a second. We'll just get the rest of the board done. We said no accents, so we are going to go with the, I'm glad to see that we have got the brown ISO enter key. Okay, we do need the split left shift. We need the R4 pipe. We need the R3 hash. Okay, we need the 1.75U shift, which is going to go in there. And then now we can pop the bottom row in place. Use a super key for here because that is going to become FN when I do finally finish the board off and I reprogram it. Put the spacebar on. Okay, now we're just going to have a look at the right hand column. Okay, so at the top I'm going to use print screen, because I kind of like to have that print screen functionality. Then we'll do a page up and a page down. I just need to find the right keycaps for that, assuming it has it. There's the page up for that row. And then we're going to find page down for row 3. Wait, is that the right profile? Yes, that's the right profile. Then we've got page down, and then just check that's the right profile as well. Yep. And then let's go for FN for there. Okay guys, so there we have it. We have the ConOne, ConOne 65% with GMK copper. I think that looks pretty good. I think the copper works well with the green. I don't think the green accent keycaps are going to work particularly well. I feel like they're just not going to look quite right with the board. They look great with the Keycap set, but I just feel like it doesn't quite work with the green look. If we turn this over and we put this keycap on there, that just doesn't work to me, right? Let me know what you think, guys. Does that work? Does it really work? I don't know. What do you think? I don't think it works. Nope. That's an interesting look. I love the color contrast with the green. Yeah, it works well. Yeah. Visionaire, hey man, good to see you, dude. That's an interesting look, right? Those colours will make me want a Thai iced tea. Yeah, it actually does remind me of GMK Thai tea a little bit. It does remind me of Thai tea. Maybe standalone enter as it's not on the edge. You think? Let's see what you think. Yeah, still clashes in my head. Still clashes for me, does that? I still think that doesn't look particularly great there. It looks great with the keycap set if you ignore the green. If it was a white board, I think it'd look great. Green board, not so much. Not so much. The keycaps are really low into the board actually. If you look here, they do sit really, really low. Like they're really covered by the board. Even at the front, like the front edge is really high compared to where most boards would be. And keys like the caps lock, they're almost fully sunken into the board. Look how close that is to being fully sunken into board. Like if I fully depress that, you can't see the keycap at all. Same here. Like if I fully depress that, the keycap goes past the point of being visible. Like it's just completely invisible. Like. And same here as well, like the keycaps go completely into the board. They don't at the front, like they're still just visible in the corner at the front. But from the middle row upwards, the keycaps are completely invisible. Like, I'm not sure how I feel about that. Like, if you look top down, like look, the keycaps just disappear behind. They actually sink right into the keyboard. Oh, you can see those lines that I mentioned here earlier on. Can you see those horizontal lines here, which are the mill lines showing through the anodization? Can you see those there? Is that going to show now? No, I think it showed better here. Like just here, you can kind of see them. There's like some horizontal lines that show through the milling just there. You want to see plate to top bezel? Yeah, I mean it's kind of deep. Let me show you. That's kind of the depth there. It's pretty deep. The keycap's fully sitting closed in there. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I don't know if I like it or not. Like that way around. James knows exactly how he feels about all of this. Like, just in practice, one thing that really does, I really do dislike, okay, so one thing I really do dislike visually about this board isn't the fact that it's got sharp angles. I don't dislike that, I don't like it, I think it's okay, I think it's a designer's choice, I think that's fine. One thing that I really do dislike about this board is actually to do with the chamfers on the edges, sorry, the flat edges. Like, this edge here is nice and flat, it's equidistant all the way along from the keys here. At the top, this line here is thinner than the bottom. That thickness there is different on the top and the bottom of the case. Like, if you look at the thickness here to here and here to here, it's different. That draws my eye and I don't like it. The thing that I like even less than that is this one at the side that starts off really thin, and it's thinner here than it is on the top piece. It's thinner there than the top width is, and it gets thicker as you come down until it joins on here. That I really dislike. That flat edge that runs all the way around should be even to draw the eye, and it doesn't, because what it makes this edge do, because this is rectangular, right? This is rectangular. The whole board is rectangular. What this actually does is it draws the eye down here and makes the board feel wider than it is at the bottom than it does at the top. Like, look at that, guys. Look at that. So you see here, this angle is different to that angle, and this bezel is thicker here across this width than it is here. And it's also thinner here than it is across here, and that's a different thickness to that. And it just draws this line, instead of coming straight, it actually bows outwards, so it's going like that. It's creating a parallelogram, a trapezium. I don't like it. Like, it throws my eye off. Like, it makes it look just a bit weird. If they'd reversed the pattern, it would have looked really good. Maybe. You think? So if it was the other way around, maybe, I don't know. Like, I feel like this was done to differentiate it from the Fiel from a top-down look. Like, I think that's why it was done. It was made to differentiate it from the Fiel. Would be my guess. I don't like it. I think it should be an even bezel. It should be this thin one, actually. It should be this thin bezel here. That should be the one that runs all the way around the edge. And then this would follow the same angle as that, or that one would follow the same angle as this one. Because look, this, if you look here, this edge actually changes shape down it. Like, if you look at it, it actually changes shape, and it's not just due to the thickness of the board, it changes shape in and of itself as well. It's like so hard to show this on camera, it's hard to get the right angle. But like, I don't know, I just don't feel like it works quite so well. The other thing that bugs me is the fact that this corner here is further forward than that corner, whereas these two mirror up. So this corner and this corner, so it's that corner and that corner, they mirror up, but these two don't. These are offset. That really screws with my head a little bit. Like, just move this one back, right? Make that slope and that slope the same. I don't know. I just don't like this. Like, these flat points here just don't gel. It should be closer to this. Don't know. It's just my thoughts. Just my thoughts. Static says, when mill lines show through like that, is it usually due to poor finishing work or bad anodization, or both? Usually it's the anodization that's the issue. It's not the milling. Like, you're always going to see milling lines no matter how much you polish and sand it away, really realistically, before you anodize. You would have to really do a high level hand polish finish to be able to get rid of those. So usually you can see them before you anodize, but to see it through the anodization tends to suggest that the anodizer's done a poor job. It might be the angle of the camera, but the angles of the flat top bezels on each side don't look even. The angles of the flat top bezels here and here don't look even. I think they are even. I think that's just camera. I'm pretty sure those are even. Let me zoom out a little bit so it's not quite so close and see if you can tell. Like, I'm pretty sure that those are even. But even so, like, it just feels like the design's slightly off. I don't know. Feels unfinished. Is the sticking out edge parallel to the desk? No. So if you hold it like this edge is angled upwards. So there we go. I would do a typing test, but it's a silent board, so you're not going to actually hear anything. In fact, actually, I think I can hear something. Let's pause the music and try that. Like, this is a silent board, so there should be next to no noise. Can you hear that? Vespa Lab, thank you so much for the follow. On Taurus as well, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that, guys. I'm not going to do a proper sound test because it's silent switches. I don't know. It sounds really strange. It's like the noise of the keycaps bottoming out, not necessarily the switches, is reverberating through the case. It's so weird. These are round 2 alpacas. I don't think it's the switches, I think it's just the case, but there's quite a lot of empty space under there that's not angled or designed to do anything. I am hammering on the keycaps a little bit. I am typing quite hard. I think if I had to use normal switches, this would be very high pitched board and very large, very loud. Yeah. If you put some dark shades or holy pandas or dark poems, yeah, I feel like it would be really super loud and not in necessarily a nice way. I think silent switches are the pick for this board. James said, did you come back with another comment on that? No, you didn't. Okay. I thought I'd seen another comment from you, James, about the way it looked, but yeah. I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, I feel like I'm torn on this. Like, I kind of like the idea a little bit of this jagged look, this kind of sharp-edged look, but at the same time, I feel like there's too many compromises in the design to make it look nice, I think. The other thing that bugs me as well, right? So I told you guys here that and that corner are offset. Do you know what's even worse? That and that corner are offset. Look at that. Those two corners are offset as well. I think copper is wasted on it. Yeah, I think so. I think I'm not particularly happy with this build. I don't know. Like, I just don't know. How do I feel about the magnetic enclosure? I think it works quite well. I think the only slight concern I have about this, and this is why I've never done a magnetic enclosure myself, but I have done magnetic things like pen rails and things. The only issue I have is this mechanism. So you have to use a screwdriver or something to open the case. I don't like that at all. Like, that is not a good idea. And the other thing is there's some glue or something that's, if the camera focuses, there's some glue or some residue that's just got on here. The other thing as well is that the magnets aren't all flush. Some of these magnets are actually slightly raised and others are completely flush. This magnet here is actually slightly raised out of the top. It's going to be really almost impossible to show you guys this. Let me see if I can. So if I put my, if the camera focuses please. If I put my fingernail here, you can kind of see that that's not quite, like it catches on it. Whereas the other ones are flush. So this corner actually sits a little bit proud. So I think if you're going to do this, they need to sit dead flush. And you need to make sure you don't get this glue residue everywhere. I think there's some merits to the design. I think it just needs a lot more work. I don't think that this is a finished product, and I don't mean that in terms of the actual manufacturing. I think the manufacturing is good. I feel like the actual design itself feels a little bit unfinished to me. Like, the logo here would have been better on the base. Like, having the logo on the base would have been much better than having it on this rear part. Yeah, the case isn't actually sitting flush because of the way those magnets put in. Yeah. I had to Gorilla Glue back on the ones with the Wook, one of the ones on the Wook opener. Yeah, the ones on the Wook openers could come loose sometimes, yeah. What did I pay for this? I don't know. Shall I see if I can find it? Let me see if I can find my invoice for it. Yeah, I found the invoice. I paid 450 euros for this. 450 euros. What's that in US dollars? 450 euro in USD. Plus shipping. That's $530. I paid $530 for the board. So I paid about $600 for the board all in ships to the UK. Yeah, about $600 all in. Is it worth that? This feels like a $350 board, not a $600 board. Do you think that sounds fair? Does that sound like I'm being too mean? Am I being too mean with that? Like it feels like a $350 board, not a $600 board, which is what I pretty much paid for it, give or take a little bit with shipping. No, so I lost out on the PayPal refund and the wire transfer because I did have to pay. So for those that don't know, the PayPal account got locked when Milo tried to run this, and he refunded everyone. But the way he refunded everyone meant that people lost out on exchange rates. So I paid in British pounds converted to euros. When the money came back, it was actually less. So I think I lost about £60 on that transaction, and then I had to do an international transfer to repay him, which cost me £12. So I lost about £70, £75, somewhere in that sort of region, on having to have the order refunded and repurchase it. It's a divisive look, yeah. It's not mean, it's just real. Like I just feel like this could be pretty cool design. Like you could do something pretty cool with this design. I just feel like there's some bits that are missing, and I feel like I don't know. Like it's these corners here and here being offset from each other. Like that just really bugs me. That's the biggest bugbear I've got on the board, and the fact that this bezel here gets wider at this end and thinner there, which changes the angle of this. I don't know, like I feel like execution-wise this could have been such a much better board. But I feel like if I'd paid $350 for this, I wouldn't have been so pointed at some of the design decisions on it. But I paid $600, plus I lost money in exchange rates due to the group buy designer not running the group buy correctly, right? You're being critical but constructive. I think the design needs some changes, and the design needs some tweaks. The design needs some tweaks to make it more aesthetically pleasing. Did I know this when I bought it? You could argue I could have looked at the renders a little bit better. Did I know the price when I bought it? I did know the price. It was a first-time designer. It was probably a bit overpriced for it. Probably a bit overpriced for it. Hey Bard, good to see you, man. Glad to see you here. Still better than Rukia R2. Yeah, I kind of feel for everyone in that situation. I feel for Jax, I feel for the buyers, I feel for everyone involved in the Rukia R2. So yeah. I remember you telling him about the PayPal thing beforehand too. Yeah, the interesting thing is I did have a conversation with Milo before he ran the group buy, and I told him what to do with PayPal and how to make sure his account didn't get locked. He told me it was all in hand, and then it hit the issue I told it would. So yeah, Vita, yeah, that's my Vita. I actually thoroughly enjoy using this board actually. I can't show you the logo at the same time, but there we go, there's the Vita. It's really cool. Like, it's actually sparkly as well. I don't know if you guys can see that on the camera, probably not, but it is sparkly. Like, it's sparkly white. I kind of love it. It's super cool. You deal with PayPal by not using it and use Shopify. Said that's why I don't use PayPal on my website. That's why prototypist.net is Shopify only. PayPal is a nightmare. It's a minefield, and I won't use it for business related things. So yeah. Plaquette de Boer, thank you very much for the follow. GRMZR, thank you so much for the follow as well. Thank you very much, guys. What happened to the Rukia? So the Rukia has taken a little bit longer to ship than expected. The designer's having problem. A designer is the manufacturer, and he's having issues showing what he's done. And there's a lot of backwards and forwards around the PCB. You can read it all on the Geek threads. I don't want to comment too much on it. My thoughts go out to everyone who's involved with the Rukia group buy. I feel really bad for the designer and manufacturer Jax. I feel really bad for everyone who's bought into it. I think that everything could be cleared up very easily by just a few small things, and I'm not sure why they're not happening. So we'll see. We'll see. Antixius, thank you so much for the follow, man. I appreciate that. Thank you. PayPal messaged with me several times, not friendly to new vendors especially. Yeah, disabled my account for no reason with no discussion. I have never had my PayPal account suspended, but I've gone through all of the steps to make sure that that doesn't happen. But then again, I don't use it for massive transactions. Like in general, it's probably only about 100 grand a month that runs through PayPal. Everything else runs through Shopify in the store, so it's kind of not huge. You actually said my name right the first time. Well done. No worries. Just because of that. Antixius. There you go. We'll get it wrong on purpose. Yeah. So yeah, we built the ConOne 65. My gut feel on it is it's overpriced for the board itself. I think at a $350 price range, it would have been good. At the $600 plus that it cost me to get the board, I'm kind of disappointed with it. But that's kind of where I sit on the board. Yeah, I think I maybe need to rebuild it with some actual non-silent switches and see how it comes out. Maybe I need to get this board e-coated myself rather than have it in the green. The green's a nice colour, it just doesn't go with any key set. Ouch on that situation though. Yeah, the whole Rukia situation is really tough, and I don't want to comment on it too much, but I don't think it would take much to get it back on track. Just some clear, open and honest communication is all that's needed. We can get e-coatings in the UK. I have a lot of my boards manufactured in China and e-coated there. I could quite easily just send this to my manufacturer and have it e-coated. It's usually not advisable to have e-coatings done for one-offs because there's very few places in the UK that can do it, and those that do it have very few colours, and because you have to have a whole setup per colour. You can't have it's not like an anodization chamber where you can change the colour that the anodization chamber offers. It's like one setup has one colour and that's it. So there's very few places in the UK that do it. If you were to do a keyboard in the UK with one of the few e-coaters, you'd have a choice of like 2 colours, and it would probably cost you a couple of grand to do it. But over in China, I can just send this to my manufacturer that makes a lot of things for me, and they will be able to e-coat it for me. Yeah. Based on my experience of the ConOne 65 or the ConOne 65, whatever it's called, I probably personally wouldn't buy the ConOne 80. The good news about the ConOne 80 though is that it's running through a vendor. I believe it's running through Candy Keys rather than running through Milo himself, where he didn't have all of the business stuff set up in the background to accommodate the payments. So I think that side of things will run much smoother. So there we go. Okay, so that's the build, guys. Do you guys want to see Midnight Rainbow as well? GMK Midnight Rainbow, the key set I designed. Would you guys like to see that? Would you be interested in seeing it? Would you be interested in seeing Midnight Rainbow? I'm not going to show it if people don't want to see it, so you have to tell me if you want to see it or not. One person says sure. 2 people say sure. Okay, let me grab it and see. Okay, so this is on my personal JO2. I'm kind of happy about this because I'm really happy about how it came out. Let's flick over to the build stream cam so you guys can see. So this is on my personal JO2. And this is GMK Midnight Rainbow. I'm really happy with how it came out. It just came out so cool. If you guys haven't already seen it, Querdenker did some amazing photographs of the set. Oh my god, look at this dust. You see that here? It looks grey here on the board. Can you see that? Looks grey there. Gone. Dust. Permanent Razor RGB caps. Yeah, it's a key set I designed. GMK Daylight Rainbow is going to be an IC soon, guys, if you want to support that. But I'm really, really happy with how this came out. I was worried about how good the purple would look on the black and how legible it would be, but it came out really, really cool. I am super happy with how this came out. Super happy. Extras available soon, guys. At all vendors. Where do you get those color trays? These are a prototypist products. They're made with myself and Tom, who designed the Isla, who designed these. These are PT products. They've got my logo etched on the bottom. And Tom works by Prototypist, designed in Ascot, UK, manufactured in China. These are going to go into group buy really soon, like really soon, like the next few weeks, sort of soon. They come in multiple colors. You can see we've got a red one here as well and a blue one. So yeah. Daylight Rainbow is on white. Renders soon, guys. Renders soon. Just means you have no love towards the JO2. I do know this particular one has been sat on a stand on display because it's like the prototypist office displaying the prototypist boards, so it's been on display and that's why it's like a bit dusty. Any ideas when the extras are going to be for pre-sale? So the extras are going to be sold as in stock. It's going to be a couple of weeks time for me. I don't know about worldwide vendors, but I'll have the extras of Midnight Rainbow in stock in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, so Daylight Rainbow is going to be on white. You said the Daylight and Midnight and Daylight Rainbow would be a trilogy. What is the third to be? The third will be Twilight Rainbow. And you'll have Midnight, Daylight, and Twilight Rainbow. Classy looking board. JO2. Yeah, it is. Thank you, man. Thank you. The CAD work on this is done by James, following my original designs for the JO1. Look, more dust on this side. Look. Get rid of that. Yeah, the CAD work's done by James, based on the original design that I had done for the JO1. There we go. Blackout edition coming soon. Twilight, I called it. We need a beige rainbow. Yeah, maybe. I want to do beige rainbow as like an add-on kit. I'll talk about that later. But yeah. Have I ever got a bud Cerakoted? Yeah, I've got a few buds that are Cerakoted. I used to have some on display in my office, but they're now all taken down and stored in the workshop. I don't have a Cerakoted bud to hand, I don't think. No, I've got purple anodization, grey anodization, black anodization, dark grey anodization, black anodization. This is kind of like a powder coat on the Vita, and then that's anodization. You'd like to place a reservation for Twilight Rainbow. Twilight Rainbow's a long way off. Like, Midnight Rainbow's done, and it's now delivering to people. And then we're going to do Daylight Rainbow in the next few weeks. Well, the IC is going to go up in the next few weeks. Then I'm not sure when the group buy is going to run. And then after Daylight Rainbow runs and has been produced, then Twilight Rainbow will run. I think that's going to be the order. So yeah. But JO2 Blackout Edition coming soon as well, guys. Which is basically going to be this, but black pen rail and black mid piece are going to be shiny. It's going to look great. So yeah, no reservations just yet, but Daylight Rainbow soon, guys. Daylight Rainbow soon. Okay, so I think with that, we're pretty much at the end of the stream, guys. Pretty much at the end of the stream. Which means you guys need to help me pick someone to raid. You'll see in about 6 years. No, it's going to be quicker than that. Woody, thank you so much for the follow, man. Appreciate that. Who should we raid, guys? Who is streaming right now that we could go and raid? Anyone in the makers and crafting area? Let's have a look. Let's see who's raiding. Let's see who's streaming in there. Unreal Keyboards. We've raided him before. Disastertron. We've raided him before as well. Ruben Across Keys has only got 26 viewers. Who else is Who else is streaming right now? Is anyone doing anything super cool and fun? Who would you guys suggest? Raid party of 69. Let's go. It says 74 on my screen right now, but it might be less. Let's raid Ruben. Let's raid Ruben Across Keys. Let's raid Ruben Across Keys. That's who we're gonna raid. I'm just gonna make sure I follow you. Okay, let's raid Ruben Across Keys. thank you so much, guys, for being here. I'm going to be streaming again on Tuesday. We're going to be building some Lego on Tuesday night, around the same sort of time as this stream. We're going to be building the Lego Ultimate Collector's Edition Millennium Falcon, which I'm super, super excited to share with you guys. And then on Thursday, we're going to be streaming again, but we're going to be doing a laser stream where we're making stuff with the laser cutter and laser plotter out in the workshop as well. So I'm really excited to share those with you guys. So please do check back for that. Drop some likes, subscribes, whatever below. Come and check us out on the Discord. Go check the store out, prototypist.net. Loads of stuff in group buy right now. Loads of stuff coming in extras and stock and all sorts of other stuff. Go watch the Instagram because I put loads of stories on there every day about what I'm doing. And yeah, I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Oh, Jay. Thank you so much, friend. Thank you so much. And welcome, everyone. Oh my god. I was not expecting a raid by the end of the stream. Thank you so much, guys. Oh my god. Jay, thank you so much. What's up? What's up? By the way, I love your new truck, man. The new truck is looking amazing. Guys, thank you so much for coming, Raiders. My name is Ruben. I'm from Portugal. The green one, yeah, yeah. I saw that you sold the caddy, right? Yeah, it's amazing. Guys, thank you for the follows. JQ, Fox,